If we're not at a Disney park, we're dreaming about being there, and a cup of Joffrey's Coffee Disney Blend helps. But what about when you're at a Disney park? The Joffrey's Disney Kiosk and Restaurant Locator will make sure you never miss out. Whether it's a cool drink on a hot summer vacation or a great cup of coffee at a Disney signature restaurant, Joffrey's has you covered. Check it out at ResortLoop.com.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is our final boarding call, and the doors will be closing soon.
Hey everybody, welcome to ResortLoop.com. I'm your host, Bob Collar. Tim Scott is on special assignment on this. Just the week before Christmas, he's out on special assignment. Hopefully we'll hear what that is as when he comes back. Anyway, I thought I'd take this opportunity. My son and I, Bobby, who's with us today. Hi, Bobby.
Hey, glad to be here.
We just got done watching one of the most incredible films ever made. Well,
oh my gosh! Well, it's going to go down in history at least. You know.
That might be a slight exaggeration, but we just walked out of the theater watching Star Wars: The Last Jedi. Wow.
What a movie. I have no words. Like, it's like not bad words, but it was so good that I don't even know where to begin.
Well, let's begin with the press release. This is the long drawn out press release that Disney put out for it. Rey develops her newly discovered abilities with the guidance of Luke Skywalker, who is unsettled by the strength of her powers. Meanwhile, the Resistance prepares to do battle with the First Order. That's it. That's all they're going to tell you.
That's all we can really talk about, too.
Yeah, without being a spoiler alert. By the way, spoiler free. We're not going to give any spoilers out on this show. But oh my gosh, it. So obviously, if you saw the last one, Force Awakens, you know that at the end, Rey, the character Rey, goes to the island where Luke Skywalker's at.
Right. Yeah.
She hands him the lightsaber. So that's not where the movie starts out, though.
No.
They don't start out right where that left off.
No. There's some backstory. I don't really know what to call it, but it's like it's not focusing on Rey and Luke.
No, we don't see them for a little bit into the movie, which is fine. There are so many stories that are going on in this movie that all are connected, and yet really could be separate movies in and of themselves if they really wanted to expand them. A new character is brought into the film, Rose, who is with Finn.
Yep.
And I think Rose kind of stole the movie from some of the actors. She had a great role.
Yeah, fantastic actress.
She's going to be a great addition to the Star Wars family. I can't wait to see how they develop her character a little bit more in there. We're not going to tell you any spoilers. So don't worry about it, and don't But you had mentioned in some of the fight scenes, because there were some pretty cool fight scenes, some
awesome, epic fight scenes.
You had an analogy to that, like it was a certain way that they were fighting. Go ahead, explain that.
Well, I noticed it. You can clearly see how in the old, the original trilogy, the fighting style. You can tell the fighting style is really heavy, because George Lucas didn't really know.
More of a medieval kind of.
Yeah, more of a medieval sword fighting.
Away, right.
It was classic, and, people love that. But in this one, they changed it up, and they decided to go with a more martial arts, Asian feel to it. Japanese, Chinese kind of martial arts. With,
samurai.
Big
you brought up
samurai. Yeah, there's a lot of Japanese influences, especially. You can see that just in the costume design for the Snoke's bodyguards,
right?
With the big helmets that go down over the back of the neck. So they took a lot of inspiration. I think they took a lot of inspiration from like feudal Japan and the samurai and stuff.
Right.
And you can tell how Kylo Ren is fighting, that they took inspiration from the samurai and a lot of their intimidation techniques. I'm a huge history guy.
Right.
If you haven't picked that up
Absolutely.
by now. But
Well, you're not the only one who felt that way or feels that way. Daisy Ridley, who plays Rey, who was instrumental in one of the big fight scenes with the lightsabers, she also felt that way. We're going to hear from her now.
Rey's look, we begin in the look we left her with, and then the look we go into is more warrior, or as Americans say, warrior, which I always found hilarious, is more warrior, and for me feels more... for me, it seemed more like the Kurosawa type of thing that Star Wars originally had so much of. For me, it felt really cool because it felt more like a martial arty feeling, an Asian-inspired feeling, which was cool, which was really cool, and it was great to move in the fight.
So there you go. She had the same kind of idea that you had. There's a lot of Asian influences in the fight scenes with the lightsabers. Just so good. Those fight scenes, and there were some things in there, and I'm a huge Star Wars fan from way back.
you saw the first one when it released
in the theaters. Yeah, that's how old I am. Thanks for reminding everybody. But it's compared to the fight scenes back then, and some of the new stuff that's coming out now in this movie. Very cool. Some new stuff from Snoke's bodyguards was very, very cool. And you get a little inside information from Luke when he's giving Rey her lessons, if you will, about what happened between him and Kylo Ren. And you got to listen carefully because it may lead to some stuff that's coming up in the next movie.
Yeah,
which is very cool.
Yeah.
So then we jump. Here's what Finn. Speaking of Finn, who introduces kind of that character we were just talking about, Rose, who I think is going to be fantastic. John Boyega says this about what he thinks fans will walk away with.
As I said, I watched it for the first time last night. It's a roller coaster ride. It takes you through it. Like, it's a heart. It's a movie full of heart, and so I think the fans are going to love it.
I agree 100%. I mean, it is truly a Star Wars movie. We've talked about this. The prequels, they just didn't have that Star Wars feel to them.
No, rewatching them, you can tell what George Lucas was like going for when he made them, but it doesn't feel like a Star Wars movie, Right. It was, and this is another thing that I loved about the Last Jedi fight scenes. Going back to that real quick, is that they didn't use CGI like at all. It was all just authentic choreography,
Yep.
And I really respected that because, like, in the prequels, it's so easy to do that, basically, is what I'm saying. It's
absolutely.
so easy to do that nowadays with all the different technologies and the way that they can make it look real. But they made the decision to just go back to the basics. And I really liked that. I really respected that.
Yeah.
They went back to the basics on other things that I can't really talk about, which I was very happy about.
Yeah, we got to see some old friends.
Yep.
Got to see some old friends, which we, again, love seeing that kind of thing. One of my favorite things of Rogue One is seeing some of the old characters because, of course, Rogue One took place in the timeline prior to A New Hope, which was just... so you get to see a lot of the people that ended up being in A New Hope from the 70s. That's how old I am. It's... and you got even some new characters. I got to be honest. I don't understand the fascination with these porgs. They're cute.
Yeah, they're cute.
Like puffins, I guess.
Yeah.
But I will say this. When you're introduced to them with Chewbacca.
Oh my gosh, that
funny
scene. Oh, that's a good scene. I really like
poor
it.
Chewbacca.
It was really funny.
I'm just gonna say poor Chewbacca, and then throughout the movie, there was some comedy in this.
Oh yeah, some very, very funny moments.
Funny moments, but not too much.
Oh no, of course not. Disney's doing a good job, even with the Marvel movies, along with the Star Wars movies, is that they have a lot of comedy within them, but they're keeping a balance between, like, they know when they get serious.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
They know when a time to laugh is and when a time to be serious and realize, like, stuff's about to go down. Right. They know how to set a mood.
Right.
You know, and another thing that I respect about Disney in their works with Star Wars and with the other franchises that they've bought over the past couple of years. So.
Yep. Yeah. Now, and don't get us wrong, guys. That this is not like a Guardians of the Galaxy or a Thor Ragnarok. That there's a lot of comedy in it. It is a very serious movie, but with a few zingers thrown in.
Yeah.
But nothing like the comedy that you get out of some of the Marvel things. This is definitely a really, really good Star Wars movie. Takes you back. Keeping with the traditional trilogy, I think, but it's not. A lot of people are trying to say it's the same as the second Star Wars movie, and it's not.
Oh no,
it's what would that be? Episode 4, and it's or episode 5 rather.
Or 5. Yeah.
And it's not. It stands on its own without a doubt. Without a doubt. And now this is what Mark Hamill, who again we only saw him for a few seconds in the last one. This is what he said, how it felt to be back as Luke Skywalker.
Well, the pressure was much stronger because in 7 I had a sort of a minimalist contribution, so I can enjoy all the fun. But I didn't have to do any of the heavy lifting. This one, Luke, is more important to the storyline. So, it's like the Doctor's Creed: first, do no harm. That's what I was trying to accomplish at a minimum. You want to do your best. You want to blend in, because these are certainly ensemble pictures. Luke's story is only one of many, many that you'll see.
And he does. He really helps the movie move forward. I was really pleased because I saw, you worry about an actor who's been away from a role for a really long time, whether they can bring that back.
Yeah.
But I really did. I saw in some of the scenes that young Luke Skywalker. From the original trilogy come back.
Yeah, you can tell that there's some growth there after, the events of the 3 movies in the original trilogy. Right. You can tell that he's a changed guy, but you can still, it's you'd know by just looking at him, the way that he talks, like, that's Luke. It's not a completely separate character. It's the same character, just a little bit more grizzled, a little bit older.
Right. Right, and I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that they kept some of the old sets that he was very familiar with. Yeah. Because before they started shooting, they had him go on the Millennium Falcon, and it turned out to be very emotional. Here's what he had to say about that experience.
Well, I thought, oh boy, it's gonna be fun. I said to my sons, "You want to go?" Yeah, sure, Dad. So my whole family went, and the documentary crew said, "Oh, you're going to go on for the first time. Can we film you?" Because it wasn't a day I was shooting. I was just in street clothes. So I went up the ramp, and I wasn't expecting to be so moved by it. I mean, it was almost like visiting a house that I grew up in that I never expected to return to. And every detail was so accurate. Everything was the same. Every dent, every scratch, every hanging pipe and oil drip. I mean, it was astonishing. And I started getting choked up. I didn't know why. I didn't want the documentary crew to be looking at all this, and so I said, excuse me, and I went around and sat in the cockpit with my back to everyone, and I thought, holy moly, this is a memory I'll never forget. Because it's unexpected, and it encompassed so much of my collective sense memory of what it was like to be back in the originals.
Yeah, it's got to be. I mean, that the original Star Wars kind of made him who he was. So going back onto that ship that he spent that time on had to take him back to when he was first starting out as an actor, and he's got to appreciate what the Star Wars franchise has done for him.
Yeah, definitely going back to his roots. That has to be emotional,
right? For
an actor as big as him, that the role that defined him as an actor, and in some ways even as an individual,
Absolutely. And I will say this, I got choked up. I'm not going to lie. You guys know I'm a softie anyway. I get choked up at this kind of stuff. The tribute to Carrie Fisher in the movie, there are a couple of scenes that will just tug at your heartstrings if you're a Star Wars fan, and you know she passed away just before this movie was finished, and it's very tender. The scene, well, I'm not even going to bring it up, but that there is a scene that you'll see toward the end that will, if you're a big Star Wars fan, you're going to go, oh man, because you know that that she's gone. So very, very
appropriate.
Appropriate. Yeah. It stirs a lot of emotions. There's a lot of emotions going on in this movie. A lot of twists and turns you don't see.
Yep.
A lot of things you're going, oh, this is here it comes.
Oh yeah,
here it comes. We're gonna, and then they completely do a left turn on you, and you're going, whoa. There were a couple of times we grabbed each other's shoulders, like, oh, dude,
Yep.
And, yeah, I do call my son dude. It's okay. It's all right. So, any last words on Last Jedi, Bobby?
Nothing. No, it was incredible. It's hard to say it's my favorite Star Wars movie, because Return of the Jedi I think will always be my favorite, because green lightsaber Luke, how can you beat that? But it's probably like my second favorite. It was definitely one of the most well done movies that I've ever seen. It's one of my favorites. Definitely.
It's 2.5 hours long. 2 hours 32 minutes. Too long, or could it have been longer?
Oh, I think it's worth every second. I think it could have been longer, but if they made it any longer, I would feel like you would start to get a little bit tired.
Right.
After a point. Definitely, they shouldn't have gone shorter, because they got everything. They said everything they needed to say in that 2 hours and 32 minutes. To me, that's the perfect time for a movie to end, is within the 2 hour to 2:30 mark. Anything higher than that, it starts to get a little bit boring.
Right.
Because you're wondering when the next thing's going to happen. But they stayed well within that threshold, and I think they did a very well job timing-wise.
I agree. I think they answered a lot of questions that people had from the first film. Left a few questions still out there. You still got some questions about a few things. And then set up for the next film very, very well. So I think it was very good. Thumbs up.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Definitely. Age group. What would you say the age group is? Because we had some young kids behind us, and they seemed to really enjoy it. They were probably about, 7, 8 years old, maybe 6, 7 years old.
I would say 8 and up, because there's some pretty scary, intense scenes, especially with Snoke.
Yeah,
Snoke's a scary guy to me, and I'm 17 years old, so I think 8 years old is probably a good time to start watching The Force Awakens and this one as well. I think 8 years old is a great time just to start the whole Star Wars thing to begin with.
Absolutely. So there you go. That's our review of Star Wars The Last Jedi. I hope there wasn't any spoilers in there. I don't think so. No, there wasn't any, were there?
No. Everything we said, you can see on IMDb.
I will say this. I'm just gonna say it. This is I gotta say. You don't have to turn off the show. I'm gonna say this. Don't believe the trailers. The trailers are throwing you off. They're messing with us with the trailers.
No, the trailers are the complete opposite of
Watch
what the movie.
Trailers; they're good, but you can't go by what's going to happen based on the trailers.
Yeah,
because the movie is just it's even better than the stuff that they're teasing. I think
definitely, yeah.
So, all right. Any parting words, Bobby?
May the force be with you.
Nice, very good. All right, well, that's all I've got for the Star Wars: The Last Jedi. We might have to go see that again.
Oh, definitely.
That's definitely a DVD purchase, a Blu-ray purchase.
100%.
So thanks, everybody, for listening. You guys know where to find us all over social media. Tim will be back soon on the next show. Believe it or not, folks, the next show will begin Holidaython 2017. That's why Tim's carbon up. He's getting rested and carved up for Holidaython 2017. So please join us on Friday for that. And like us on Facebook, rate us on iTunes, and don't forget to subscribe to the show. Share the show with your friends, loved ones, enemies, anybody. The mailman has put that in his Christmas card this year. Thank you very much for a great year. Listen to these guys. Anyway, you've been listening to The Gateway to the Magic. See you, everybody.
Vacation memories will stay with you and your family for a lifetime. The Resort Loop Travel Group was created with this in mind. Our fee-free services will relieve you of the stress and confusion of finding and booking the best vacation at the best price. After booking, we will continue to monitor for ways to save you even more on your vacation. We will check for any upcoming packages and discounts to save you as many vacation dollars as possible. Resort Loop Travel Group, gateway to your magical vacation memories. Get a quote, or for more information, visit ResortLoop.com.